Hey, 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 ladies and gentlemen. Boom. Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching GEEKCASTER, everything sci-fi, fantasy, geek culture, and pop culture commentary. We've got Drew, I'm Seven, and we gonna start right about there. How you doing, Drew?
Well, busy but well. Yourself?
Good. So we've been talking about a bunch of different series, and they're all like paused right now, right? Like the halfway mark.
And I'm gonna apologize early on. I'm gonna be I might be a little sluggish today on my pop culture stuff because it's just been a busy couple work weeks, and I've fallen out of certain shows.
Right.
In that interim, to your point, Seven. And things are either on not hiatus. I don't want to say hiatus in the world of streaming.
Right.
Things really don't stop. They just kind of take a break until the next one, which is what hiatus is.
Right.
But really what it is. But everything is either in between or about to start. I know that we have certain seasons of shows that are picking up just now, others that just ended.
Okay. And
then I think everything else is kind of just in flux, like in limbo right now. What's new right now?
Because Incredible that was the ending of that season. And anyone that didn't see the last season of Incredible, it actually was incredible.
Invincible?
Why do I always say incredible?
I don't know, man.
I don't know. But I like Invincible.
It's coming back. And, so a little adage to that.
Okay.
I remember when we were talking about him the last time, and we didn't know if there was like a spin-off or something else that they could do. They had Adam Eve's thing.
Okay.
It's like a little one episode, like not filler, but it's kind of like a prequel type of thing.
Okay.
So in recent comic book news, Image Comics released, I guess it was issue 1 of the Battle Beast comic that they made.
Oh.
So with that in mind, if they wanted to pick up Battle Beast, because he is really like the fan favorite. Low-key, when I heard that there was a Battle Beast thing, I was like, I'm not surprised, because he kind of is that G.
Right.
If they did decide to make a spin-off series and then air it on streaming in between seasons or whatever,
right?
Because again, I said before, it's anywhere between 6 and 8 seasons I think they're working with for Invincible. Battle Beast could be a neat little interim. 1 episode, 5 episodes, however many it is. But I have a funny feeling that with its popularity, because the first issue did like gangbusters. It outsold lots of titles, and it's already popular. So I'm thinking it's only a matter of time before they make an announcement to where it's like, y'all, Battle Beast on joint. So we'll see, though.
And it's funny, we spoke about that, too. There's so many potential spin-offs with that series. Like, they could go on forever.
They could. They shouldn't. I don't think that just because you have a bunch of characters, everybody needs a series. Marvel tried that, and it didn't work.
They're still doing
it. They still do it. Characters that kind of don't even need them. But, like, this could be a thing. I think they have a keen enough eye on which characters would do well, which ones would be a little more interesting to delve into.
Gotcha.
Right? Eve seeing, like, how broken she could be, that was cool. Battle Beast, I think, Battle Beast would be even, I think, better.
Okay.
I think it has the potential to be even better. So.
Daredevil ended very juicy.
It was an ending. It was odd.
The ending was well, I don't like out of all the episodes, I like the last episode the least, ironically enough. But what I mean by juicy, because you're like, from a writing standpoint, there's so many ways that this can go. And I think that's the whole point of ending a series. That last episode really is supposed to give you that appetite for more. You don't think they gave that to you?
It tees up a lot. It tees up a lot with this season, but for me, it's just kind of as an introductory season for a new show.
Right.
I don't think it was that solid. I think it kind of just does the same Marvel thing where it's like we're teasing the next product while we got the first one kind of still half-baked. There's ideas in there. There's things that happen. There's plot and stuff, but it's all just kind of daisy chaining to what's supposed to be the next title. And then it's rinse repeat.
I could agree with that. Well, I think they didn't really. The writers didn't really know, in my opinion, what they wanted to do with Kingpin, or what they wanted to do with him. They stretched it out too long.
Well, they made Kingpin weak, dude. He's watered down because of his ties with Vanessa, and he's giving her the whole idea where there's like this usurper angle with Vanessa. If they pay it off in next season, right. I'll take it all back.
Okay.
This might have all been part of the plan, and it's like, well, since we're doing 2 seasons outright, we're gonna write this arc and leave it not even at a cliffhanger. Just not gonna finish it. We're just gonna leave it just as this kind of thing. Things will happen, but there's not gonna be any real catharsis to the season. Things are just carry over.
Do you think was I'll say the problem, but we all know Kingpin has to somehow come back. We all know that Daredevil has to be pushed to get back to his, the
status quo that they are. They gotta
who they are. So,
yeah.
But do you think they're drawing that out too long with this first season, Born Again?
The way how they did season 1, yes. In the broader scope of the series, maybe. We won't really know. I'll know when they finally bring that arc to a head. Because the whole series, the most interesting part of the show, in my opinion, is Matt Murdock and Wilson Fisk. They're 2 men that have 2 different lives. The surface, like the persona that they portray to people, is not who they actually are. So through cause and effect, time and tide, and all that stuff that we see in the show, events lead them back to the status quo. Comics do this all the time. I rock with this. It's kind of like, par for the course, where you have the characters go, whatever happens with a superhero, no matter how many times they die or change or get a new outfit, at some point they got to reset to the status quo.
Right.
So that's what Wilson and Matthew are doing. But the way how they did season 1, it's like the back end, bro, it's rough. The back end of how they get there is rough. And it doesn't.
One thing you said 2 shows ago, that one of your major problems was the Vanessa character. Too much. She's almost pointless in some ways.
I don't know, though. If I did say that, I'll amend it a little bit in that she's not just pointless. She's just kind of in there to be problematic. She's just in there to be the adversary of Wilson. I get he needs an Achilles heel.
Right.
They established that way back in the other series that for him, she's a good thing. She calms him or whatever. They have that rapport or whatever.
Right.
But it's the idea that also it's what I kind of call the Simps disease. It's like, everything for my woman. I'm like, that's what's gonna mess you up, especially when she decides that she wants your stuff and starts doing weird usurper stuff behind your back.
We know this. I think the problem is there's no surprise here. We know this.
It's nothing shocking or new. Here's the thing. I'm okay with that. It doesn't have to subvert your expectations every 5 seconds. But it's like, my biggest gripe with it ultimately was that it just seemed like she was in there looking to be an op because the series needed an op. Not because Vanessa went through this gradual turn where she decided I could probably do Wilson's job better than him. Nothing is displayed in that. The show just tells us that she's awesome at everything. That's a lot of modern writing does that with its characters that they don't want to actually show progress. Right. They just tell us how they're
Matt Murdock's relationship, it's supposed to kind of do the same thing for Matt Murdock.
Yeah, there's a parallel going on with Matt and the chick that he's with, and she becomes equally annoying because of that, because she's just like whining towards the last half of the season.
Right.
After the whole thing with Muse, right?
I was waiting for you to say that.
Yeah, Daredevil saves this chick's life. She shoots him. She gets the kill, granted. But after that, she has this conversation with Matthew, who is Daredevil.
Right.
And they're all psychos. She's just going off, Miss Therapist. She's going off, and all heroes, they're just out to appease their own sick, twisted need for violence. And Daredevil, Matt, is like, didn't Daredevil save your life, though, hon?
Right.
I saved me. I'm like, word?
So, I think they had me with her character and even her outlook on quote-unquote heroes, vigilantes that wear a mask. But they lost me when she said she saved herself.
she's biased. I get that.
Yeah.
I get she's biased from the minute that she.
But don't you think that's too far? I mean, even though this is a fairy tale,
it's a big leap. But they do give us kind of cues that she's a little judgmental when she first meets Matt, because she learns that he's a lawyer, and she's making like, oh, lawyers are. I'm like, you don't even know me like that. Are you saying that lawyers are? You don't even know me. So she was gonna kind of be a jerk regardless. But when she says that thing, I saved me. I'm like, dude, after the guy jumped through the window, I get you were being choked out. You're about to, get sent to the hot country or whatever. But he jumped through the window, saves your life. You see this happen, but because you got the 6 bullets in him first, I saved me. I'm like, all right, bro. And then she just becomes like a nagging element in Matt's life. He's trying to do this juggling act. At one point, he has a line too, where it's like, this seems a little fake, and this being like their relationship, I think, is what they're hinting at. Because she's like, y'all like doing things with each other, but you're a vigilante. She doesn't like vigilantes. Those two dueling ideologies are going to be a source of contention in your relationship.
100%. And at some point, the closer she gets, at some point she has to find out.
Yeah, I'm thinking she's either going to find out, or he's going to be like, yo, before she finds out, I got to nix this because we just don't work.
Right.
Which is fine if the show does that, but it's the whole dance. It's this, they kind of do it at the cost of the character.
Right.
I can understand the character even if I don't like her, but it's like, you're just making her kind of just the op because Matthew needs an op to go with Wilson. I don't know. It's choppy in some regards.
100%. 100%. So where we're at, what else is coming out or just ended, or are we at the halfway mark?
I can't think of anything. My brain's kind of fried on that. I'm behind.
I'm behind a little bit too. I did check out Andor. It wasn't as slow as our first season of Andor, which I told you it took me a while to jump into it because it was just too slow. It was like, I get it. You're trying to build, but as things progressed, I have to say that Andor is arguably one of the best series for Star Wars.
Okay.
Yeah.
Lots of people are saying season 2 is paced better than season 1.
Okay.
Which might have been just part of the plan the whole time, because I know there's a lot of subterfuge and build-up in Andor. It's a different kind of Star Wars thing. But I still have to watch it. Something I got to catch up on.
Yeah. So, especially, this is all supposed to build up to Rogue One.
Yeah. Apparently, it's the lead up to Rogue One. But there was that. There was another one that just came out that I'm also behind. Oh, Devil May Cry on Netflix.
Okay.
I'm curious about that one because it can't possibly be any lamer than the original anime that they made. They made one like in the early 2000s. It sucked. And the reason that I didn't even finish it, it was like...
It was that bad?
It was bad because Dante as a character, it's almost like not the show's fault, but it's the fact that Dante, for the first few games in the series, he's just kind of just a douchey one-liner machine. He doesn't really have a personality. He just says the cool thing and then does, the over-the-top Demon Slayer stuff, which is fun, right? It's cool. We watch the series for that. But when you realize that that's all the character is, it makes it difficult for you to want to watch him in a show. So I've heard from people who have watched this new Netflix series, they apparently acknowledge that first on, early on in the season. To which if they do, I'm like, all right, thank you. You at least acknowledged it, so let's see what the rest of the series has in store. I'm more inclined to watch it now with that part that they described to me.
Okay.
So.
And it's a lot of little shots and pictures and building up excitement towards I want to say it right. Osaka? Is it
Ahsoka? For example, Star Wars again?
Ahsoka, yeah.
I guess. I don't know. I know she got her one season. It was alright. Then she showed up again in that Acolyte. That's gone. We're not seeing that again. It sucked.
Well, I want to touch on that one, but the Ahsoka season 1, I could have done without it, which I'm surprised because it was highly anticipated. It wasn't terrible, but it just didn't. I don't know. I don't know if it was the writing or just how it was directed, but I don't think it lived up to the hype.
I don't think any of these Star Wars things are living up to their hype. When it came to Ahsoka, I would say it's about standard fare of what you could have expected from one of the better New Age Star Wars joints.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I'm as a casual Star Wars fan at best. I'm not like even ahead of them like that.
Mm-hmm.
But Ahsoka was good. Acolyte was the one I could have been like, if you could have taken the fight choreography in Acolyte and then transplanted that into Ahsoka,
right,
that would have been a dope show. That would have been a better show.
That would have been a better show. Yeah.
So I don't know. I know that, yeah, again, Andor, I think they're kind of, if they scale it back to keep like people happy, I think if they scale it back to around that time, before, during like the Rebel stuff, they'd have a better shot of maintaining like consistent, like good reviews and standing with their audience at this point with Star Wars stuff.
I don't know what to believe at this point, but they might be doing Acolyte season 2 now.
Where's this?
Again, is it the internet? They keep saying it's going to happen and saying it's not going to happen. I don't think we need it to happen. I don't think it's necessary.
Cancel it, and that was the end. Anybody trying to revive that one? I'm curious as to what's the plan? How are you going to do that?
Right? Do you pretend so many things didn't happen? Do you just kind of keep writing and clean it up? I don't know. There's a lot of problems with that one.
I'm looking it up right now. I'll give you a second.
Yeah.
Acolyte. I don't know about that one, dog. Yeah. I really don't know about that one. What do? You just continue on? Because they had it set up for this whole thing.
Right.
She's like with the sinister Sith dude. Mm-hmm. That was
weird.
I'm like, okay.
And that was not consistent. And that was, I don't know, the writing. There's a lot of problems with the writing and the character development.
Yeah, this is March's done, Seven. I don't know where you heard it. Just let it be dead, homie. See, that's what messes stuff up. Let this be dead. June 1st or June 4th to July 16th, 2024. That was its run. We don't need to deal with Acolyte no more. I'm sorry.
There is a potential Anakin series, or like Darth Vader early years series potential. That would be interesting.
They could do a good one if they brought back what's the guy that played the young Anakin, Hayden Christensen or something?
Yeah. No, it's set to be, if it's true, it's set to have him in it.
Okay, yeah, I could see them doing something with him. I think his cameo spot in, was it Ahsoka?
Yep, it was Ahsoka, yeah.
His cameo thing in Ahsoka was received pretty well from what I'd heard, which is funny because people rag on the prequel joints, episodes 1 through 3. Those have gotten better with time. And the originals are they're considered ancient. And then the new one that everybody hates was the newer trilogy. So that's
what it is? I think it's because the bar has been lowered. It's starting to look better. Like the prequels are starting to be appreciated more because of the last 3 that were just, what are you doing?
I see that. I think thematically, people, time and sensibilities, how people look at the world and stuff changes. Mm-hmm. I just think the time that those particular Star Wars films, being what they are, you look back on them now and the circumstance that we're in now, and it's like, no, we'll let little nebbish goblins worm their way into positions of power to make life miserable for everybody too. So how can we be mad at the plot of Star Wars for doing the same thing? Right. You can't be mad at George for doing that.
No. So, and then look at well said, by the way. Well said. I give you some fire on that. That was very well said. Also, Jar Jar Binks has gotten off the evil list. Because remember, people were ragging on Jar Jar really, really hard. No one's loving his character, but
no one loves him. But they did over time like gloss him up a bit. There's this theory that people have gone back. Have you heard this wild theory that he was supposed to have been like a Sith? Right. You heard this? He was like a Sith. I'm like, it's ridiculous. No,
No.
But when you look at it from like, how do we clean this character up and make this annoying, irksome character somehow interesting or more like I
More
guess
depth.
likable?
More.
Let's give it, let's give him this wild like plot, this, theory where he was somehow like just goofing it the whole time.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Whatever.
No, not so much. Not so much. Um, I need to see Fantastic Four already. I think we sometimes we're hearing these movies coming out too early. Like
Yeah.
I just need to see the film now. I don't want to like you know. And by the way,
I,
anyone that does not know anything about Fantastic Four, and I'm going to try to do this more ahead of time for films, to kind of break down who some of these characters are historically. So if you go to geekcaster.com, there's an article on who who are the Fantastic Four, and just a little bit of their history and influence in pop culture. And so, one interesting thing, Fantastic Four was Stan Lee's answer to the Justice League. At least when they were creating it, they thought of like, well, let's get a team that comes together that kind of act like a family, get on each other's nerves, but they have to survive and support each other like a family, because that's what he kind of saw in the Justice League. So I thought that was really interesting. I never heard that before, and I thought that was pretty cool. And through the history between Marvel and DC, a lot of times DC would create a character, then Marvel would create their version of
they've always had that
that
back and forth.
back and forth.
They'll
Yeah, vice versa.
play off of each other. The Fantastic Four, as I recall, what I know of their history,
Mm-hmm.
again, Stanley was trying to make like do the sci-fi pulp stuff, but
Mm-hmm.
mix it with like the soap opera drama, superhero stuff, but with like soap opera stuff woven in, so you have that
Right.
interpersonal dynamic.
Right.
And yeah, Fantastic Four is like Days of Our Lives with like sci-fi stuff and superhero stuff woven in it,
Right.
which it works. My only issue with the Fantastic Four is that they tend to like linger too much on certain phases. The first film, I guess you had to start somewhere, so they do the origin story. What I like about this new one is that apparently they bypassed the whole origin story, and they're already like in the family unit type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
I think Reed Richards and Sue Storm are supposed to be married by now.
Interesting.
Right? So we don't have to do that will they, won't they crap that they made us watch with Jessica Alba and the guy that played him in the other one.
Right.
But it's like you're kind of coming into a pre-made situation where it's like you don't have that build-up, you don't have that same kind of, I guess, drama. But I don't know. We don't know what they'll really put into
Right.
it yet.
And
We'll
it could work and it could not work. I mean, the easy way to do that, but without lingering too much, is just do a series of random flashbacks when appropriate. But it has to be done well, because that could be annoying too.
Yeah, it can be done. You don't want to focus too much on like
Right.
constantly jumping to the past to explain why people are the way that they are. It gets tedious after a point. But we'll see. I'm not sure what the core family conflict will be. Usually, it stems from like Reed Richards being Mr. Smartman and Sue being like the family mom. They butt heads.
Right.
He's too distant. She's like the mom figure. And then it's whatever external stuff goes on in their lives.
And Thing is angry and don't talk to me and I'm going to be on. And then you got the hot head torch.
The one you understand the most. Well, I think I do. I can honestly speak for myself. The Thing, he's the dude that you understand because he's like the odd man out. I'm like, all right, I get it. It's this whole in the first set of films, the early 2000s, he had probably the best arc out of all of them. He transforms. He becomes a rock monster man.
Mm-hmm.
He had a wife. She doesn't take to it well, ditches him. And then there's the scene where they're on the bridge where it's like she drops the ring on the ground and he bends over to pick it up, but his fingers are too big. He can't pick it up. And he's struggling. That scenes like that, if they can work little moments like that into the movie, it'll be fine. I think it'll be fine.
Just so we don't run out of time, do you overall, do you think it's going to be, because this takes place, I think, in the 60s?
60s or 70s.
Right. So do you think they're going to magically pull them into present day as that whole a different universe thing to connect with?
Did you watch Thunderbolts yet?
No.
Okay. Well, to answer your question, probably. Probably, to quote Bjork, probably maybe.
Okay.
Or was it possibly maybe? Yeah, possibly maybe.
Gotcha. I mean, it's the only, with the whole multiverse thing, I mean, it's probably the easy way out.
Yeah, it's the easiest way. It's they've spammed it up until this point. Why not? They're going to keep doing it.
No,
Yes,
definitely.
multiverse time travel. So even though it's not the same thing, time travel and multiverse travel are two different things. Rick and Morty taught us that.
Right.
But yeah, I think that's what they're going to ultimately pull. And we'll let. I'll walk into it piecemeal with these from here on out. I'm on piecemeal with these Marvel joints. And Fantastic Four, I enjoy the concept of them.
Mm-hmm.
There's better comics than there are film show media of them. So if this is like just a good one, I'll be happy enough with that.
Cool. All right. Yep. Well, check out that article on GEEKCASTER.com. Thank you, Drew. I am 7. You're watching GEEKCASTER. Everything sci-fi, fantasy, pop culture commentary. And you could find us on cable. If you're watching us on cable, this is great. If you could watch our shows on YouTube as well as GEEKCASTER.com. And if you're watching us on Twitch live, because we do the show live on Sunday, 7 p.m., just stay tuned, because you're going to get some more treats your way. We're going to do more shows. Otherwise than that, go to the next video or you're going to be watching it next week. All right. You're watching GEEKCASTER.